Hey everyone, how are you? I just want to take a moment to pause with you, to just take a breath and kind of just check in with ourselves, right? So, big breath in with me and let that go. Yeah. So, now as you are moving through your year, I want you to ask yourself something important. Where is therapy on your priority list, right? Because we often put so many goals ahead of taking care of our emotional wellness. And I think that in order to get ahead, we actually need to prioritize taking care of our mental health and our emotional well being too, right? It's not something that we can get to later because the truth is, none of our other goals can really thrive if your mind isn't in a healthy space, right? So, emotional wellness isn't just another thing on your to do list, it's really the foundation that holds everything together. Okay. So, when you are avoiding addressing the things that are really getting to you on a day to day, whether it's anxiety, whether it's grief, it's overwhelming stress, like these things end up taking up so much space in your mind that it becomes harder to function, let alone just like thrive and feel good about you. Right. So this is where therapy comes in because it isn't just a space for venting or just revisiting the past. It's really about creating a space for the future that you want. Okay. And before I continue, I just want to say, hey, my name is Amanda Flood. In case you don't know me, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have a psychotherapy practice here in New York, and we also have a coaching and consulting firm. We do a lot of speaking on like wellness, and we go into organizations and bring a lot of our skills to spaces as well, because I think it's so important to be able to lead from an emotional space. I think it's so important to be able to take care of the well being of our team so people have the tools to be at work and to do their work well. We spend so much time there, right? So, we are amiss if we don't think that our emotional issues don't come into the workplace because it certainly does. Okay. So, I want to talk about this thing about goals with you, right? And the importance of having tools to draw from to help you get there. And I can give you an example, especially for those of you who wonder, like, who comes to therapy anyway, right? So, I have like two people in mind. So, I have this professional woman in mind who came to us for a lot of anxiety about making presentations at work. And as we really worked together, it became clear that her struggles went deeper. They were really connected to historical experiences shaping how she showed up in the spaces that she needed to function on a daily basis, like work and whatnot, right? So therapy really helped her identify those patterns around what was making it difficult for her to show up, particularly when she had to do presentations at work, when she was sort of like put on the spot. And it wasn't so much the presentation itself. Some people get really anxious in that space, like just being present and having to like show their face and have their voice heard in a room, right? Which are all things that we can work on, whether in therapy or we can coach you through that as well. But for her was like the anticipation, because there's something called anticipatory anxiety, where it's the idea that something is coming up starts to generate all these thoughts and you feel it physically, because mind and body is deeply connected, right? So, she had to really take a look at what was leading into that, those patterns, right? And then we were able to give her the tools to face that. So now she's in a place where she's aware of when she's in that thinking space or that old pattern. And she has more tools than she had before to kind of disrupt that cycle for her. So she's able to show up in the way that she wants to and really take control of her emotions, right? I think we look for other ways to control how we feel. And sometimes that's doing things that just sort of like numb us down because we are so afraid of the emotions and we don't know how to handle it. But there's some really practical things that we can do. And I think that's why I do love this therapy space, because we get to give you some practical tools, right? So another example that comes to mind in terms of who we work with when it comes to therapy. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you know somebody that could probably benefit from therapy, please share this. Hit a heart wherever you are, so I know that you're with me. And just hit share right now, because I think it's still an underutilized space, right? It's such an amazing space. And it's a privilege to see people grow in this space. But we need people to know that, like, you can be here for everyday things and get so much out of it, right? So someone else I have in mind, it's a family and they're going through a divorce, which, can be challenging, of course, right? And I think we have the adults dealing with it. And then we have the child who kind of feels caught in the middle, right? So within that space, we get to really help the parents really reconcile their loss, their disappointments, as well as the child and what it's meant for them, because the consequence of the parent's choice has definitely impacted that individual. And they've been really able to work on their emotional awareness, even as a child, as a teen, and learn how to communicate better. Right now, that's a skill she's going to have for life. Right. So instead of holding everything in and just kind of going through the motion, she's now aware of what's happening, and she's been getting progressively better at sharing that. Right. And that she gets to take with her. Okay. So this is just a few examples of how therapy can really help and change a dynamic just by giving you more than what you had before. And I love it because it's those small, powerful but intentional adjustments that really unlock progress and causes a lot of shifts for folks, right? Actually reminds me of something that happened to me like just this morning at CrossFit. I was working on my deadlifts right now. I'm not like a power lifter or nothing, y'all, but I like being fit. And I hit a personal record today. I deadlifted 205 pounds. Okay. And before that, it was like 143. Okay. Or 145, something like that. And my coach was so excited, and it was so cute seeing him excited. And that just made me excited. And again, it made me think of the therapy space where, like, it's a privilege to see you guys do well, right? And to see you guys do the work that you do. And to show up consistently for yourself. I love that for you guys. So, seeing that in him, like, that was a pretty cool moment too. But what I even more appreciated along the way was, of course, he was paying attention to my form and stuff, and he gave me tips of what to do with my form and with my body, right? Like, girl, drop your butt, right? Point your toes out, right? Drive with your legs, fix your knees, all of that. And it was so helpful because while I could feel something was off with me, like with my balance and stuff, I didn't really know how to fix it. But with his guidance, I was able to make those adjustments, and because of that, I was able to lift more weight than what I thought was possible, right? So it's the same like that in therapy. You might feel stuck sometimes. You might be overwhelmed sometimes. You may wake up some kind of way and don't know why you feel that way, but it's just not you. It's just not yourself, but you don't know what steps to take. And as therapists, we're like that coach. We are attuned to your needs, and we get to offer you tools, the ones that we think best fit, and the insights to help you make adjustments. And the results are just as powerful, right? You start to carry life's weight with more strength. And again, that's just a beautiful thing to see. So, all right. So now let's see. Let's check in, because this was really about your goals. So I want to check in with your goals for the year. And if you can grab some paper. You could always come back to this too, because I want you to ask yourself some questions as we check in with where you are with your goals for this year. And I think a good place to start is, am I really moving forward? Right? Or have I really fallen into like the same patterns or the same ways of being, or I really am not making any progress on my goals, right? Like, a lot of us will say we want to do X, Y, and Z for the year, right? Let's say go to the gym. We get excited and we're going, and then we fall off, right? Or eating really well and then we fall off, right? So that's what I mean by sort of like stuck and not making progress or falling back into the pattern. And the problem is just the pattern is so strong. It's a habit you've developed for so long that even with the intention, sometimes you need a little bit more. But you have to notice if that's what's happening for you, or you keep kind of coming back to the same place, okay? Because that might be a good sign that you may need a little bit more support too. Nothing wrong with that, right? I'd rather have support to be able to lift more weight than to be stuck at the same weight for a while, right? So, so we have that. Now, the other part is, have you been too distracted or falling into that place of, I don't have enough time? And usually you do, but you're just wrapped up in like the busyness of life, or the busyness becomes an excuse to avoid working on what's hard, right? So we'll find everything else to do except the thing that we need to do. Check yourself on that one and see if that's you. And I think the final place is, do you feel stuck, right? Do you feel stuck? Do you feel sad? Do you feel overwhelmed? Are you unhappy, even while trying your best? And whether that is at work, whether that is in your relationship, whether that is in just like day-to-day navigations of life, if that stuckness is there, it's something to just take a look at, right? I think all of these are important questions. And if your answers are tough to face, it might be time to consider therapy. That's it. And not as the last resort. That's the main point here. It should move up on that priority list for you this year. Okay, and use it as a space to really disrupt those patterns that we keep coming back to, and to make room for something better. I think that's what I see with all of our clients, really, like they are making room for better. And one of my favorite words that I hear often that they describe it as, it's like the sense of freedom, because they're so much lighter, right? All of those things. Okay, so that's what I got for you today. And if you are ready to just talk about more about this or explore it more, we are here for you. Our practice is here in Lynbrook, Long Island, and we do offer in-person and virtual sessions if that's what you need. So, and we actually have someone coming on who is specializing in kids and teens, which means more spots for you guys. Definitely reach out if that's what you need. I think therapy can be that missing piece that helps you create space for your goals, heal some of that stuff that's there, and help you get to that next level in life, right? And definitely beyond therapy, there's a space for you too. We coach women of color to build their confidence, to take up space, to step into visibility, to build their businesses. So look out for that. Reach out to us for that. We host workshops, we support panels, retreats. We host our own retreats, summits, things like that. So if you need a mental health expert on your team or for your event, definitely reach out for that too. Okay, whether you're an individual or an organization, we would love to connect. Okay, therapy, I think in general, is a beautiful gift. It's a gift that you give to yourself. It's a gift that you give just by sharing this, and it's one that just kind of keeps giving back to you as you learn, you grow, you just kind of thrive, right? So as you guys think about your goals this year, ask yourself, is therapy the next step to help me get there? Okay, and if it is, I look forward to hearing from you. All right, as we make that a priority for this year. All right, and not just for ourselves, but for our community as well. So such a pleasure, everyone. My name is Amanda Flood again, and it was great to connect and see you guys in lots of different spaces. Whenever you see this, say hello in the comments and make sure that you like and share. And we will talk soon. All the best. Ooh, I should have put this here. Let's see if it's not too late for me to throw this in here for you, so you get that too. All right, beautiful.